Ayo, Little Man! What's going on, everyone? Nick here from Little Man YGO. Back at it again with another video, and this time is half format. The next big format. We're gonna dive into that today, and I know it's been some time since I've posted a video, several weeks as a matter of fact, but I miss you guys. And I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a little bit now. So before we jump into anything, obviously like, comment, and subscribe for the video. We're over 1,000 subs. Like, thank you so much for all the love and support you've been giving to the channel so far. On another note, we have the weekly Edison tournaments that are every single Thursday. We're trying to diversify it, but listen, all of you jabronis want to play Edison, so we're playing it every week. We're getting over 16 people now, which is awesome. So jump into the Little Man Discord and add the role to be in the tournament. And then we'll tag you every single Thursday, play 7 p.m. EST, be there, be square. And then every once in a while, we stream. My goodness. Secondly, I will be at RBET New York, which is in like 2 weeks or so, which is fucking crazy, right? I have not done like any testing because I've been so focused on school, but I will be there. I will be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Come say hi to me. I want to hang out. I want to see what's up with you guys. I want to see what's going on in your lives, because all you hear about is the channel in my life. And the last thing too is there's this banger, and I'm not able to go to this unfortunately, but I was asked to promote the event. There's an event down in Georgia. It's like a spooktacular. I'll throw a flyer right on the screen over here. Like a spooktacular Yu-Gi-Oh weekend. It's not just spooktacular, it's spectacular, because they're doing GOAT, Edison, Tengu, advanced format, $4,500 in prizing. Like, gee wills. If I was not in school, my ass would have bought a ticket and went there already, right? So organizers are Atlanta Go Format, I believe they are. Flyers on the screen. Put the Facebook link right there. Check it out for yourself. Book your tickets. Go down there. I think some of the little men will go down there too. So enough of those shits. Now, let's talk about half format for a second. So what is half format and why should we even give a shit, right? So the reason why I want to talk about it today is because I've been noticing like a lot more people talking about the format per se. And I think it's due to like, let's face it, Edison has been the flavor of the month for like 2 years straight, but I think people are starting to come around to Edison's getting stale, and Edison has been getting stale for me as well. What? Why? You're an Edison. I know, but like, here's the reality of it. People are fucking sick and tired of seeing Black Roland, normal summon Shura, and your opponent just have a 90% chance of winning the game that way. Obviously, Black Wings being the best deck. People are sick and tired of Substitute, sick and tired of, you know, getting sacked, because let's face it, Edison is like a sackier format, like, believe it or not. You know, just brain control, trap dust shoot, like you lose to some serious nonsense that is just like wildly out of your control. Also, like, your first turn win rate is a lot higher than it is in other formats, which is kind of crazy. And people are only playing like, or the only decks that are really winning are value, frogs, variants, and then Black Wings. With obviously you have some sprinkles of like just different nonsense we did in the tier list video not too long ago, myself and Kazarski. You should check that out. It might be a little outdated. I still think it's right though. So then obviously people have been talking about half format, and Team Retro Legacy YouTube channel. They do all the live replays over there. Bunch of champions on the channel, epic cards and games down in Texas. They've been hosting a couple of half formats, and ever since that, him posting some videos and going through some gameplay, people have been talking about the format a little bit more. I myself have been playing the format for a little bit. I play Mythic Rulers in this format. I really enjoy the deck. It's like a combo deck that grinds too. It feels a lot like Amaryllis. It has like this insanely high ceiling, and then like you put cards in the graveyard, you banish them, you flood the whole field with them, and you win. Like, and it's something that I've been enjoying. So I wanted to go over like what it is. Starters 2014 format. It's the last format before they got rid of the first draw. Right before Duelist Alliance came out and just changed the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever into the pre-modern formats, where Burning Abyss, Shaddoll, Satella Knights had just like outclassed everything at that point going forward. This is a format in which like the control decks are like the best decks in the format, which is like really rare. You don't often have a format in which like control decks are the best decks, either combo decks or aggro decks. The other like exceptions are like the early Yu-Gi-Oh, like early DM Yu-Gi-Oh, like where control decks were pretty big, and then when Sky Striker was one of the best decks in the format too, like for its time. That's when control decks are like, it's like really rare when that stuff happens. So it's really cool to have that be like a thing that, you know, that's considerate of the format. And also, like, people are like really enjoying it. They're playing more games with it. And it's obviously a very diverse format too. Like, you can kind of play a little bit of everything in that format. You could play hat, hands, artifacts, trap tricks, cats, card D, artifact, trap tricks. You can play a lot of ats, right? A lot of artifact, trap trick variants throughout the format. So there's a nice little pool of diversity there. I feel like I play against something different every single time I load up a game on like Dueling Book or whatever, which is really cool. By the way, this is my Mythic Roller list. Just so you guys can see, I put some time into it, boys. Put some time. Okay, the pros. It's a diverse format. You can kind of play a little bit of anything, right? You could either play the control decks or the combo decks. You know, the control decks being the at decks I was mentioning before. Geargia is another big one. Geargia to me feels like the Value Turbo of the format. It just plays very similarly to it. It is like Gear trap card that's like busted as hell. Obviously, utilizes sword charge really well. So it's like if you're able to control the field, if you have a control deck that is able to utilize soul charge like pretty well, I think like you're gonna have the best deck of the format. You're also able to play like other combo decks like Sylvans and Mythic Rulers and even some of those, and even Fernities too, which some people don't like having to have a Fernities in the format itself, but let's be honest here. Let's be honest. It's not the best deck in the format. At least I don't think so. I don't think so at all. What else to say about it in terms of the pros? The games are never really decided on your first turn. It's like they ban a lot of, because this is after the that September 2013 list, that infamous list that like fucking hit everything. Like it banned Stratos and Pot of Avarice and Card Destruction. Like it banned all these like really, with the exception of Stratos, banned all these like whack one-ofs that were like a return that were just like offshore winning the game. So it's like the limited cards were not as like high impact in this format, which is a very cool thing. Like you don't have like one card where you feel like, oh my god, they have stack, except for like if they get like Warning or something, like Solemn Warning, because it is a one of, and a well-timed Solemn Warning is like so devastating in that format to like a degree. And obviously Bottomless being at one is so important too, because remember, priority is not in this format, and it is searchable off Murmillo. So I mean, like, people are going to open with Bottomless all the time, but once you go past it and you're able to push past it, then, like, the game is a lot more interactive in that regard, for sure. Speaking of, the gameplay is very interactive. I think, like, it does reward a better player, for sure. Like, if you're, like, hit the wrong thing in the control mirror, and that's true of, like, any control mirror, whether it's a Go control mirror or whether it's making a mistake in the Sky Striker mirror, as I discussed before, you are going to really lose pace in that game, and I think that's like really healthy. And if you don't want to play any of that stuff, you can play a combo deck, like I said before. Like obviously a lot of the combo decks do revolve around like Soul Charge, and we're going to jump into that as one of the cons in the format. I don't even call it a con. To be honest with you. I don't think Soul Charge is that big of a con, and here's the reason why. Every deck could play this card, right? Every deck could play this card. And the reason why that's really good is because, like, the biggest problem with, like, Edison format is that, like, the best cards in the format are locked behind archetypes. Let's go with example, Black Whirlwind. Black Whirlwind is one of the craziest cards in the format. And it's insane that only one deck gets that. Or, if you're bold, you could put it in value, but that makes you a fucking asshole if you try to do that. Let's be honest here, boys. Let's be honest. It almost reminds me of like how Go format has the trinity of like Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Delinquent Duo. Every deck has to play it. Every deck has a chance to see it the same way that everyone has a chance to see Soul Charge. Obviously, there are some decks that utilize it better than other decks. The same way that, say for example, Chaos Turbo utilizes Graceful Charity better than any other deck because you have Thunder Dragons and Nine Assailants and stuff like that, right? You also don't get a battle phase with it. It gives your opponent a chance to rebuttal, and there are some board breakers in the format for sure. You also have Max C, another card that like people just do not like. But the reality of this is that a lot of people just do not main deck Max C in this format because in the control mirror, it's balls. It really is. Because you're not, if you have Maxi and they go Mermello set 5, what are you going to do? Wait for them to artifact like their way into it and you're drawing on your turn? Yeah, you can't do that. But that's not a great utilization of your resources overall. You'd rather have like upstart goblins to be able to get you into that. It might as well be that, right? And that's the thing where it checks all of the combo decks like really heavy in the format. And usually when people are soul charging in the format, they're not just bringing back like these huge monsters and leaving it at that. They're bringing back the monsters in order to combo. So having Maxi to check into the soul charge, both those cards being at 3, both of those cards being easily acceptable. I mean, like, let's face it, Maxis are like $10. In a few months, they're getting reprinted. Thank goodness gracious, Konami, you're reprinting the Roach. My goodness. I didn't even mention how diverse the extra deck is in this format either. Like, I guess we're going to go back into the side thoughts here. The extra deck is very diverse. You could play, it's like Edison and Go format have that kind of like same thing, the similar deal where the extra decks are like usually all the same cards. Go format's a lot, obviously you can play every fusion card in the fusion deck. Edison, you play the same like 15 cards for most decks, with the exception of some variants here and there, like obviously Black Wings and Body, you play like Arm Wing and Arm Master, and then like you've got Godems for like the machinist stuff. But you have a huge pool of Xyz, Synchros, and Fusion monsters that make deck building a little bit more creative and makes decisions a little bit more harder. That's also pretty cool. But the last con I wanted to talk about, and this to me is the real con in the format, is not having Heavy Storm. And the reality of that is you see it. They were just setting 5. 2 shits not given. Granted, Solemn Judgment is not legal either, but that should not justify not having Heavy Storm in the format, you know? Heavy Storm is just like non-existent, and it shows whenever you play a retro format how there is skill to thinking about what cards to place into your back row. What is the priority back row to put down? Like if you're going first in Edison format, you put down the Bottomless before the Deep Prison if you're putting a card down, because Bottomless has more net value in the earlier game than it does in the later game, and Deep Prison's a bit more on the vice versa side, of course. So without Heavy Storm, they could just place all the cards down and not think twice about it, which does piss me off a little bit. I think there's a level of strategy and a little of like even deck building does revolve differently when that card is not existent in the format. You do have 3 MSTs. Problem is you don't want to blind MST because you don't want to have the artifact cards. So Heavy Storm the lack of Heavy Storm, people play like assholes, right? That's just the reality of it. You do have some other substitutes like Royal Decree and Malevolent Catastrophe that some decks played. I've tried both these cards myself. Malkat's pretty fucking good because people do not respect the card at all. And obviously, you do have Exciton Knight, which is like an extra deck Heavy Storm in a way. And you do need to be down on cards in order to activate it. That card is crazy though. Like I even have it in as you saw before, my Mythic Ruler list, simply because like you could like mess it up with your little 4s. If the Breepo brings back Mythic Tree Dragon, you can make a 4 from there, etc., etc. I don't think it promotes like healthy gameplay when it's just not there in the format. Personally, for me, I think they banned that card a little bit too early. I think they should have banned it like after this format when they were entering the Pendulum era, because a lot of the Pendulum monsters ended up like just benefiting from just getting blown out of their own back row, key with like wavering, like for example, like with Wavering Eyes and stuff like that. That's my biggest gripe. Outside of that, the format's fairly diverse. It goes back and forth a lot. The games take forever. So from like a gaming perspective or like a tournament organizer perspective, I think you're going to go into a time a lot more. I think 50-minute rounds are like healthy the same way that they were the ARG rules around that time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about half format? Do you like half format? Do you love half format? Do you got to have half format like the Coldstone Creamery shit? Or do you hate it? Do you like, no, Edison in and out, I'll tattoo a fucking Edison, New Jersey on my forehead? Or do you like not think it's like, do you hate Soul Charge? Do you like Soul Charge? Do you hate the hands? What is it? Tell me. Please leave comments, likes, subscriptions down below. And I can't wait to see the discussion. So peace off, guys. Have a great day. Stay safe.